Okay, so I'm stepping into your guys' domain here a little bit. Jaime,
Hi.
can you tell me what Mercury retrograde is?
Yeah, so I can tell you. I'm sure you don't believe me, but
No, please.
no, it's just it is like a phenomena, I guess, where Mercury appears to be spinning in the opposite direction of what it normally is. Now that's how it appears to us, right?
Yes.
But in the astrological, in the how it affects humans in a sense is said to, well, it affects like communication in general. It affects technology a lot, like in kind of in negative ways. They even say that like during times of like Mercury retrograde, you're not supposed to sign like contracts or commit to anything like super long term, things like that, because they're kind of like doomed to fail in a lot of senses because of those situations. But I think the things that I noticed most during the Mercury retrograde is definitely the technology failure, like is a big thing, especially working in technology. Like that's what we had so many issues like during a certain time. But that's just, it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, that's just my understanding. But also communication is a big deal, right? Like being able to talk to somebody and get your point across without, creating tensions. It's a really difficult time to do any type of great communication. So so far that's what I have.
Okay. Anything you want to add to this, Stephanie?
He's gonna shit on our parade, by the way.
What? I would never.
Lies.
I've done my research on this.
For me, it usually affects me emotionally and mentally. Like I get super drained and irritable, and just everyone around me is crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone else's fault.
It is. It's everyone else's
Everyone
fault.
else is crazy.
Yeah, I do have to agree with that though, in a sense too, because I feel like because of the fact that I feel like I can't communicate with people as easily as I normally can. That's what's frustrating to me. It's like things are so simple, but they're not as simple during that time for me. So I understand the frustration. I also feel like it still continues on a little bit beyond the time period that they say. Like I feel like it finally just kind of cleared up this past week all the way, but Jose's gonna shit on our parades.
No, I would never.
So what did you learn about Mercury retrograde?
So what you're talking about is called retro shade.
Retro shade. Nobody's ever said that before.
It is called retro shade. Wait, I had it here somewhere. Yeah, wait, nope.
Where did you learn this, by the way?
I read multiple articles written by weird people.
Yeah.
All right. You seen so retro shade, it refers to the planet's retrograde shadow period. And it happens before and after Mercury retrograde.
Oh, you mean, so the part that I said, it feels like it continues on for a little bit. Okay.
But we're currently in the shadow period up until September 30th.
Oh.
It's when the planet slows down as it prepares to enter retrograde, or it speeds up after it's exiting retrograde.
Interesting.
Yes. Retrograde is considered a good time to look back on recent issues with a clear perspective and make changes that matter. It is common for people to break up and move on and start embarking down a new path.
Yeah.
Mind you, there's no research to back up any of this claims.
I think that, like, you can okay, this is very similar to me for like the days around the full moon, right? Like I noticed it in me that and what I mean by that is that I know that there's certain times of the month where around the moon, like the days before the full moon and the day after the full moon, where my energy is different. Like it's and I feel like in general, like people's energies are different. Like you're on the street, people are acting wilder, like just like driving
That's where
crazy.
the term lunatic came from.
Really? Oh,
yes.
See, there's some substance behind it, right? Like, I mean, I didn't make that word up because people.
But you're also talking about these words that came up X amount of years ago, where people did look up at the stars and think that is what governs the world.
But those are still words that we use, right?
But same thing with sinister. We still use the word sinister, and that was used to describe left-handed people.
Oh, Really? Why?
Yes, because they're evil.
Why?
Yeah, left-handed people were considered evil. So if you were like, even in Spanish, like they'll call the left-handed people la siniestra.
Oh, know that.
Yeah,
Are
la
you
diestra y
left-handed?
la siniestra.
No, okay, neither am I. Why?
But
no, I mean,
continue.
but so to me, and it's funny because every time we're about to enter a full moon, and I start noticing my energy change, I start noticing the environment like changing. Again, this is just how I feel. Like even even Adolfo will be like, is it almost a full moon? It's almost a full moon, and then we Google it, and it's like literally like a day or two away, from being a full moon because people seem wilder around those days, my theory behind this is just me making shit up, by the way, but like the day of the full moon, it's never as crazy because you're kind of already been wilding out, you're already in that state, but the day after that, it's like you're leaving.
You got enough rest during the full moon. Is that what you're saying?
In the day of the full moon, you're already the beast. You're already the monster. Werewolves, right? Like they turn into like the beasts on the day of the full moon. But again, this is just what I notice. And it just so happens that I call it out when it's about to be a full moon, which actually gets me thinking about one more thing unrelated to like, our celestial stars and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But do you guys ever smell like when it's going to rain? Like, yes. Can you already smell it and be like, it's going to rain? Mm-hmm. Adolfo never believed me about that. And then I would call it out, like, really easy to make the face right now. And then I'm like, it's going to rain because I can smell it. It's not raining. It's not actually raining, but I can smell it. He was like, nah, there's no way. And then literally like 10 minutes, 30 minutes later, it starts raining. And he's like, this bitch. But it just reminded me of that, But there's just things that, you notice as people that are maybe more sensitive to certain ideas.
Yeah, obviously. You have anything to add to that?
No. Yes, I do.
Yes.
But I agree. Mm-hmm. Around when it's about to be a full moon in my household, because it's women.
Yeah. Oh.
And cycles meet. It's just not fun.
Yeah.
Because everyone is.
Her days of the month are different than yours.
Yeah.
No, it's not because we're both doing it around this full moon.
They seen it already?
No, I know what we're talking about.
Yeah. But no, like it's so I notice when it happens because that's when I know I get more irritable than anything and my whole household gets on my nerves when I know it's about to be a full moon because everyone does everything in their power to just piss me off.
Yeah.
I know they're not doing it on purpose, but I'm just like, it must be a full moon because everyone is acting psycho right now, including me.
Yeah.
Do you guys notice these things happen when there isn't a full moon?
Well, no. So no, that's my point of it though, is that I notice like even let's say traffic behaviors or the way people are driving. I mean, Adolfo's even said it like on his way home. Like, is it almost a full moon? Because like people are driving fucking crazy, and it's usually again around the time that it's gonna be a full moon. Like that. That's how I notice it the most in traffic and things like that. So, I mean,
I do notice the behaviors with coworkers and stuff, and I also do notice that we get more angry emails from parents around that time.
Like you're more angsty. In general, I feel like everybody gets a little bit more angsty, like even myself included. And I know maybe at the same time, it's my sensitivity to people at the same time during that time. But I noticed it. I call it out. I literally say it's about to be a full moon, but without even knowing it's about to be a full moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yes, I notice when it's not. Things seem to be calm around me.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell us more about
well, astrologers have linked astrologers,
yes.
Not
astronomers.
Yes.
Got it.
Not the real scientists. Astrologers have linked it to a variety of behavioral and psychological changes in people. So the claims are that people are become more irritable, unfocused, prone to misunderstandings and conflicts.
Exactly.
It also brings about depression and anxiety. So, like you mentioned, it appears to be moving backwards.
Yeah, right.
Doesn't really move backwards.
Right.
Some people don't know that. But no, it appears to be moving backwards.
Did you think that I didn't know that?
I just asked.
I felt like you thought I didn't know that. And I checked you.
No, you knew all about the stars. But no. I actually wrote down, like you mentioned.
You added this afterward.
Nope, I have not typed. It simply appears to be moving backwards, and it's because Mercury's orbit around the sun is shorter. It only takes 88 days as opposed to Earth.
300 English.
No, remember
that
the
Mercury Retrograde.
THS? that fucking THS I have a problem with.
It's because of your lisp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earth.
You
Earth.
have a list.
Very slight, and I'm not giving you shit
No,
about it.
it's fine.
Yeah.
But Earth's orbit is 365 days, right?
Was that a TH or an S?
I just used an S. I gave up. Susan Miller, an astrologer, says that Susan Miller.
Oh, thank you.
She's an astrologer, again, not real scientist.
Stop.
Says that the perceived movement of Mercury can affect listening, speaking, learning, reading, editing, researching, negotiating, selling, buying, all formal contracts and agreements, important documents. It's reasons like these that astrologers advise that we avoid these things during Mercury's retrograde. With the appearance of the backward movement, astrologers also warn that you might revert back to your old habits.
Yeah. I'm listening. Sorry.
No, but like
no,
okay, you're hearing it.
That added a sense of, because that's why you also fall into like your depression situation. I'm not saying you, but I'm just saying like you get into moods that you're like, why am I in this mood? You know, like this is something that I don't feel normally, right? Maybe you got past a certain situation, but in this moment you're kind of feeling that way again, and you can't really explain to yourself why you're feeling that way at the same time too, you know. But that's where anxiety, your depression is worse. Is literally what you just. I'm just agreeing because that's something I didn't know until
you're just
what you said right now.
You're agreeing with the astrologer, not real scientist.
I'm agreeing with what you said.
Yeah,
but so, you know, also like a lot of these. I guess made up sciences, right, came from really early time periods, which also like zodiacs and stuff like that, right? Like people don't believe in that idea of personality. And I'll add one thing about like zodiac, right? Like your zodiac, even though I'm a Virgo, there's a bunch of other things that affect me and my personality that make me unique.
You know what that's called? It's called an unfalsifiable claim. You create all of these things that make it make sense when you're like, well, because when you met me, you were like, you're a water sign, right?
Did I say that?
Yes.
I don't feel like that's a me thing.
That was exactly what you said.
But
and I was like, I don't know.
We got to find out your birthday, because then what if your moon is like a water sign or something like that? Because for example, my moon's a Leo, which is what makes me.
But this is what you do. You give me 6 different things that run the fucking gambit.
There has to be
gambit.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Runs a gambit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gambit.
You give me all these. Because I'm like, is it Gambit or Gambit?
That's a good question. I was gonna say Gambit.
Because Gambit sounds right, and I think it's
like
what's the other saying? No, it's Run the Gamut.
Oh, I don't fucking know.
All right, one of those.
I'm out.
But you give me these 6 different things that are like, well, I'm like this because my moon is here, my sun is there. This is my main one. Yeah. But then, like sometimes on Tuesdays that end with a Y, it's over here.
Okay.
And then there are other days, like on days that end in 7, it's over here. So that's the reason that I'm a bitch.
Okay, figure out your chart.
Exactly. See, that's what I'm saying.
But
it goes
telling
beyond.
you, like what it does, it gives you a possible reason for everything that you can possibly do.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
Logic.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, but at the same time, like if everybody was exactly the same, right? Like we'd all be exactly the same. Like, I mean, well, every Virgo was exactly. Me and Adolfo would be exactly the same person in a lot of senses, you know.
Mm-hmm. And you know why you're not?
There has to be other things that contribute to like the time that you were born.
Okay, maybe it's the way you were brought up, the people you've met along the way,
but also my zodiac. Why can't my zodiac be part of this?
Because what does it have to do? Like, what do the position of the stars have to do with? And you know what? It's funny that when I started this, I was like, I'm gonna try to do this as objectively as possible.
Bullshit.
I am not gonna be a dick.
Liar. That's such a Leo thing. This reminds me of the Little Mermaid. I feel like you went into the Little Mermaid, but with an idea that you're a bitch.
But if you remember, I said that it wasn't a bad movie.
I don't remember.
I just said it wasn't for me.
I don't remember having this conversation now. The more that we're talking about it, I remember us having a conversation about the Little Mermaid but I don't remember us talking about.
We literally talked about it.
Well, I mean, I see your point, but I actually,
That's
I
a
would
dope
say that there's more times I've noticed I can guess someone's zodiac by their personality.
Yeah.
Like if somebody is just taking chances without any, like people that I know that just go for it, I know they're a fire sign.
Yeah.
And when
But
I ask
how many
them,
times have you been wrong?
I've never
Wait.
been wrong.
Wow.
Yeah,
Never been wrong.
He's an Us.
I can tell a Leo and an Aries right away.
Yes.
And I feel like those are the signs that usually stand out more. Like the fire signs stand out the most because they're fire signs. Like they're the most outgoing, the most. I know you don't think you're outgoing.
I'm not.
But
I don't even like leaving my house. That's why I'm always late.
But that doesn't mean. And you're also very you're very.
You know how
hell-bent.
often I avoid parties? I will do my best to avoid a gathering.
No, well, but there's. There's also a confidence about you, right? That I've told you about.
Oh, yeah, it's fake.
Well,
I
you're-
fake it.
But it's fine, right?
That's
because
what Leos do too, though.
I mean, because like deep down inside, well, because I mean, it's about presenting themselves a certain way, you know, like that's definitely a Leo thing, you know. You don't like it.
And that is something that I will also say too is that a lot of the mostly Leos, there's one of their features is they don't have to be outgoing. They don't have to be. They usually keep to themselves, but they just do by action. But also, when I'm not how you just said that it's fake.
Yeah.
I feel that it's fake when they present it in public. There's something about of their quality that does come off fake.
Well, yeah, I
But
can't
they-
fake it by myself.
They-
I tried.
But
They also.
I don't mean that maliciously. or
Yeah,
anything like that,
no,
but
it's a pride thing, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
literally, like a
I
Leo is
get
a
it
pride
because
thing.
Leos and
yeah,
lions
exactly,
and prides.
exactly. Well, there's a perception.
I'm
of-
just making a
of
stupid
Leo.
connection so you guys can see.
it's all falling into place.
It's not stupid.
I mean, even down to the show, right? Even though you may not think you want to be or you are the central focus of the show. The show starts with you. You know, you are.
Oh, you guys are more than welcome to do
No,
the intro.
no. You know what I mean.
I would be perfectly fine with that.
It's a Leo thing. You know, like the Leo wanted to do the show.
Rar.
All right.
You do take a lot of direction in what we're doing, and that's what Leos do.
Yep.
Leos and Aries like to organize and take
Create the
ownership,
direction.
take ownership and create and give.
Wait,
strict
but it's not
direction.
always me because Jaime does
No,
it
no,
quite a bit
no,
too.
No,
But my moon is a Leo.
he doesn't. That's the thing.
Yeah.
But he does. He'll
He
send me
waits for
messages
you.
like,
No,
"Hey,
he waits for
what
you
if
to
we
do
do this?" And I'm just
Yeah.
like, you know what? That's a good idea. Let's do it that
Yeah,
way.
but he's not gonna do it unless you approve.
No, well, I mean,
It's your show.
but same. Like, I will not do something unless they approve. I always let them know first.
I think you think that.
I'm always like, "Hey, what if we do it like this?" And if you
Yeah.
guys are like, "Yeah, that's a good idea," I'm like, "Cool, we'll move
Yeah.
forward with it."
To me, Stephanie's a very chill Pisces, by the way, because most Pisces that I know, fucking wild. so,
Just like you haven't met me,
Like, you've
bro.
only met me. You know this much about me so far.
Just a tip.
Oh my god! Stop! What the heck?
Oh my gosh. I believe I am pretty chill, but I do have my moments where I can.
You know why?
Yeah.
Because everybody has their moments. We've all been there.
Stop!
Yeah.
Stop!
I was looking at my chart. I was like, "Where is my moon again?"
Where's your moon?
Capricorn?
Capricorn. That's why you're so down to
obviously.
earth. See, that's your more chill side right there. That's what I'm saying.
And my
Look,
rising is Aries.
yeah, I think mine is a Libra. My rising
I don't know
is a
what
Libra.
any of that means.
Because you don't
Aquarius,
fucking
sorry,
tell us your
Aquarius.
birthday. Like
I have-
we
do
need
have
your
to-
birthday and your time of birth. So,
All I know is that my mom says 10 a.m. and I'm like,
do you have
okay.
your birth certificate?
No.
Why?
Okay, I don't know.
Why?
Because I have
Does
to
your
go back
mom
to
have your
Mexico
birth
to get it.
What the? Oh, like why?
Well, I don't have mine.
No, why?
It's in Utah. I don't know.
Oh no, guys, let's go get your
Utah
birth
is far.
certificates. Can we go collect your birth certificates, y'all? So I just want to
Road
do
trip.
this. Yes. Well, there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, and again, that's to me that makes sense because you're a much more down to earth Pisces. Then that's what I just said. Like normally Pisces are wild. Like I know two Pisces right now that I'm like, calm your asses down, you know. So anyway, continue with their Mercury retrograde stuff.
So the way Miller explained this, again, the astrologer, not the astronomer. She said, if you were in a car
Okay, we get it,
and
bitch.
another car passed you, you could tell it was going faster than you. But if it slowed down and then you passed it, it would appear that the car was moving backwards. Then, when the other car speeds up and passes you again, it kicks up all the dust in the road. As Mercury speeds by, it is like a train flying past, creating a powerful, turbulent gust of wind in its wake. The turbulence and disruption of Mercury, the turbulence and disruption Mercury creates when it's in retrograde can affect what we feel on Earth in our everyday lives.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't know about this Mercury retro shade part.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's interesting.
well, there you go.
Yeah.
Astrologers believe that there is a fractal. Astrologers believe there is a fractal relationship between the Earth orbits and between the orbits in the heavens and the human activity down here on Earth.
Astrologers or astronomers?
Astrologers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you might be wondering, why does it affect these specific things? Excellent question, Stephanie. You see, when a planet retrogrades, astrologically speaking, it is in a resting state. So the activities that it governs don't have the benefit of a well-functioning, wide-awake planet to supervise them. That is a direct quote. That is a direct quote,
Stop,
okay,
man.
of this. Yes.
See, this is why you're a bitch. Because you're a fucking Leo. I'm just kidding. You're probably like a double Leo, too.
Now you might be wondering, but Jose, what can we do for these approximate 9 weeks a year? Great question, Jaime.
No problem.
You see, you must refrain from making important moves. Nothing
said
will be
that.
settled successfully for the future, and you will find it impossible to nail down a plan. Even if a decision is made, it might be subject to change either when Mercury goes out of retrograde or much later. Again, direct quote. But do you see how
I see what you're
all your
saying.
bases are covered? It's like, well, if it doesn't change now, it might change later, but you might change your mind. You might not change your mind.
Do you have to get...
This is the exact...
Well, but also it's also in the way that these people are kind of explaining the situations. You know, like there's it goes. Obviously,
there's-
Mercury retrograde isn't once a year. Like it does happen throughout different times of the year. Maybe about 4 or 5 times, I think. A year.
3 times. The last, I think in 2022, it was 4 times.
Yeah. Oh wow. See, so there you go. Like it happens quite a bit, you know, throughout. So eventually things are gonna affect you. And mind you, we're only talking about Mercury. We're not talking about other.
Oh no, hold on. I got more.
But wait, there's more.
Everything affects us.
So Venus's retrograde affects beauty, right?
Oh, shit.
Because you know Venus is a goddess of beauty.
Okay.
But the
and
planet
Mercury is
affects beauty.
the messenger, right? So like Mercury, like Hermes, aren't they in
Yeah.
relation? Oh, okay. So that's where
But
communication.
Mars rules the area of surgery.
What does that mean?
Well, you see, you don't
can't
want to
have
get surgeries when Mars is out of position because Mars
Explain it.
rules surgeries.
How? Wait, you're not really explaining though. How? What is that?
No. That is the exact explanation I hear whenever you guys talk about any other retrograde. So when Earth is passing up Mars, right? Mars goes into its dormant state. So now you shouldn't be getting surgeries.
Okay, but
But why?
Why? You're not telling us why.
Same reason, fucking Mercury, because Mercury rules communications. Venus,
But why
rules,
is Mars? Why is Mars in charge of surgeries? Why
I don't
specifically
know.
that?
I didn't ask. Why
You
is
Googled
Mercury?
this.
Why is Mercury in charge? Because I wasn't going off of Mars. I was just trying to focus on Mercury. All this other shit was extra that I wasn't willing to do.
You have incomplete research.
I wasn't willing to give up more of my brain cells.
Maybe there's more to Mars than what you think.
Yeah, but see, your Leoness took charge and
Gave
finding
up.
out more. Right?
No. What
It
I
did,
did,
though.
what I did was, oh look, here's some other planets that do stupid shit. I'm gonna add this in so they could see. Maybe my planet is doing stupid shit too.
It didn't make sense now because maybe it makes sense why I don't feel beautiful on certain
maybe-
days of Venus.
So maybe he,
Right? We go through
Maybe-
different stuff.
so curiosity. So maybe aside from your Leoness, you might also be a Libra, right? Let's find out. Find out if Jose.
Oh, yeah.
is-
No, he doesn't really know what time he was born. That's the problem. 'Cause we gotta go to Mexico to get his birth certificate.
Road trip.
Yeah, get his birth certificate because he just says 10 a.m. and he's
That
not
was
even
what
sure.
my mom said.
Yeah, we don't believe her.
I was probably late.
Yeah, you probably came out at noon and you thought you came out at 10.
Yeah, because Miller says that we should avoid getting plastic surgery during Venus's retrograde because
that?
while Mars rules the whole area of surgery, Venus rules beauty. But how can you use Mercury to your advantage?
Tell us.
Well, you can travel to visit someone from your past because, past, retrograde, backward.
Oh, but like, what does that mean? Though, like, just
Because it'll go well because you're in retrograde.
it's funny.
You son of a...
No, let me tell you, because I told you I hung out with Brian. So I hung out with my ex a few days ago, maybe a few weeks ago at this point. And we're just chill. Like him and his husband and myself, we were just all hanging out and having breakfast, and it was just like a really good time. Like it was nice and chill. So I'm just. That's why it tripped me out that you said that, because that literally just happened. So
It did.
yeah.
You can also use it to
I
take
ran
time off and
into
ignore
you.
everyone.
I ran into you guys.
Where?
Front.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah,
You
it was
guys looked
trippy.
all happy and everything.
It was cool. It was chill. Yeah.
Yeah. You can also use it to take time off and ignore everyone. Which, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I avoid people when they call me. So I'm just like, sorry.
Yeah.
So,
Because there's a lot of communication failure. I really do feel that. But I mean, it is what it is.
so we've seen what astrologists say, but what do scientists say? No. That's our show.
Jerk.
All right,
This is not real.
Tom Vassos, an astronomer and founder of Cosmologists Without Borders, says there is absolutely no connection between Mercury's retrograde orbit and your mental well-being. While there is no scientific link, it stands to reason that believing in this phenomenon may lead to heightened stress, confusion, and tension. In essence, a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're worried about it, so when in retrograde, your own worry puts you in a bad mental state. Ellie Borden, I didn't like the way this was written because it doesn't say what the fuck she is. It just says BARP-PCC of Mind by Design.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I fucking looked too. She says they may believe that celestial movements can influence human events and that studying astrology will help them better understand themselves and their relationship with others. Others may take solace in the concept of a higher cosmic order or believe that astrology can bring guidance and insight into key life decisions. This belief can cause you to be more sensitive and vulnerable to your thoughts and feelings and lead to an increase in negative moods such as anger, resentment, and sadness. You are very angry and resentful.
During the Mercury retrograde? Oh.
It is important to remember that these feelings are caused by Mercury's perceived retrograde, but by individuals aren't caused by Mercury's perceived retrograde, but by the individual's expectations during this phenomenon.
Yeah. Jose doesn't believe in this, but we do.
Yes.
Because it makes no sense. I don't know what the constellations have to do with me being angry at 12 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Do you know
I understand why people make me angry.
Yeah.
Because they believe in fucking shit like this.
One other thing we could talk about, just real quick as well, is the return of Saturn. Like, have you heard? You know what the return of Saturn
that's the sequel,
is?
right?
What?
That's the sequel
The sequel to what?
to the Mercury retrograde.
No.
Because Mercury retrograde is the original, and then the return of Saturn.
No. So you've heard of the return of Saturn too, right? No. Okay. So
Oh, hold on, real quick. My bad. I just saw because I saw the title today, and I just didn't have time to look into it. But they just found signs of possible life in I think it's Saturn's moon in Europa.
I think I heard something like
Because
that.
I remember like 10, 15 years ago, they found water in Europa, and now they're saying that there might be signs of life in there.
There's so return of Saturn.
Yes.
Is said to happen every 27 to 30 years. 27 to 30, I think it's like 30, 37, 31 years, excuse me. So it's a time period where Saturn returns to the same point of where you were born, right? So it goes, it's the transition period, astrologically speaking. It's the,
Astrologically.
not that I'm a professional or anything like that, but it's that time period from where
We
you go
know
from.
that's why you called yourself an astrologer. That makes sense.
I didn't say that. Anyway, you go from, so the first 30 years is when you go from being an adolescent to an adult, right? And then after that is when you go from being an adult to a wise person, so like an older person.
I
like
know a lot of
60.
stupid old people.
But see, and that's the thing, right? So there's also like people. A lot of people pass away. A lot of people, like famous people, especially, have been known to like die at the age of 27. It's when their the return of Saturn is happening. Because
Or
they can't
also-
handle the transition period into becoming those adults.
Or-
But then again, it's just what?
Also, because the brain is fully developed at 27.
And what does that
And that's
mean?
when you realize that life really does suck.
But see, you have choices, right, that you can make, right? So there's a
what
lot
about-
that happens
okay,
at the.
what about all the people that die before 27?
Yeah, there are people that die before 27. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but 27 is a number, right? That like
It is a
everybody
number.
talks about. No, you know what I mean. You know, like it's a big deal. So Amy Winehouse died at 27. Kurt Cobain, same thing, died at 27. There's a lot of people who died at a specific. But I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. But it is that return of Saturn period when there you have a lot of life choices to make. You know. So let me talk about my return of Saturn. All right.
Definitely sounds
I
dirty.
lost my job that I'd worked at for like 5 years. That year, I broke up with my ex. That year, there was a lot going on, and actually, towards the end of that year is when I met Adolfo. Like, so it's definitely a big transitioning period, right? Like a lot of stuff happened at the age of 27 when things were changing. The return of Saturn, so it's a big period for yourself. It's a big time period where a lot of changes happen, and you kind of have to prepare yourself for that moment in life so that you can handle, what's next type of thing. I don't know. Just say.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah. Jose does not believe me at all. Yeah. But it's usually 27 or 30. It depends on
No, what
when
time
you're-
you were born?
When you were born. Yeah.
Obviously.
That's all I'll say.
Is this why Pluto got demoted?
Because you can't, it doesn't retrograde.
Yeah.
Sure. This was fun conversation.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Now you have to tell us about Venus.
Yeah, now you got to do more
Oh,
research.
now I got to
Yes.
look up Venus
Yeah.
and Mars and
Yeah.
like
Fucking
what
Leo.
every planet,
Yes, Leo.
what every planet
Yeah, now
governs.
now you piqued my interest even more. So
Jesus.